All right, hello everyone. I think I'm live. I did not have an intro today, so welcome back. Today, as you have noticed, things might look a little different, might be a little different today because I'm using a new computer. I finally got my new computer, my new iMac. So I've been trying to install some of the software that I was using on my MacBook Pro. But it's been crazy. It's been it's quite a lot. I guess you don't realize how much you actually have installed on a computer until you have to switch to a new one. And I started it from scratch, so I didn't want to just use Time Machine and bring everything over. I hope the sound's working. I hope everything's working, because I spent a little bit of time trying to get the stream as close as possible to whatever I had it on my MacBook Pro, but I don't think it's exactly the same. So we'll see. We're going to probably encounter a lot of issues today with not having some software or not having some things installed. So we'll have to get that up and running. You might see me look over in this direction because that's where I have the iMac. But I have a second monitor. I grabbed another old 1080p monitor that I had, and I have that over here on my left. But I guess I'm pointing to the right for you. And you'll notice that you can now see my microphone because I figured I'd set it up right next to me instead of having it up top. So now you're going to see the mic, unfortunately, just so I could capture better sound, and so it'll be a little bit better. I see that we have a couple people in here. If you could hear me fine, just say hi in the chat or say something. Okay, someone left, so we're down to one. All right, that's okay. Today's going to be a little bit different because I don't even know what I'm going to do because I don't have my code from the project that I've been working on. So I think we're gonna start something else from scratch. Try to get Angular up and running. Maybe try to get Mongoose and MongoDB up and running as well. That way we could start doing some stuff. So I have an idea of something we could do. We're gonna pivot a little bit, work on something else today, and then maybe tomorrow or the next day I'll bring back that project that we were working on, or the project we've been working on for the last 10 or 15 hours or so. So today is just going to be like a breath of fresh air and, in starting over again and doing it again. Okay, so without further ado, let us go over to my second monitor. And you'll see that I did bring the countdown timer. I brought the time that we ended at last time. So we are at 21 hours, 4 minutes, and 39 seconds. I actually did bring the code and installed Node so that I can run this count up timer, but I didn't install much else. So let us open up Terminal. And actually, I got to find where this code is. I just airdropped it to myself, so I should be able to find it, most likely in the Downloads folder. CD, not desktop, but let's go to the Downloads folder. Let's see what's in here. Is there anything in here? Maybe not. Oh. What is going on? Why is it stuck? That's weird. It's not letting me see. I might have messed up the terminal as well. But I guess we'll figure this all out as we go through this. All right, let me go back and let me see if maybe it's on the desktop. Oh, that's so weird. I can't even see what's on the desktop. LS is not working, so that's extremely odd. Let's see if Node is installed. Okay, that's working. Maybe I'm pretty sure it is in the desktop. So we're gonna not the desktop, the Downloads folder. So let's see if I could set up the Downloads folder or get to the Downloads folder and maybe run count up timer. And no, it's not even finding it. Okay, so that is not good. We're already starting off on a bad foot here. In our terminal not working correctly. So that is extremely odd. But obviously to be expected when you're doing something live. Oh, I see what the issue is. I just got a notification. Let me bring it over because I haven't used terminal before. Actually I did use it for a little bit, but not for opening up projects. It would like to access my downloads folder. So obviously that's why it's not able to access my folder. So there we go. We got another notification, a bunch of notifications it looks like. All right, so I am able to access it. So let me clear all this out. So what is it? Control L, clears everything I have right there. Let me just delete everything. Let's see where I am. It's okay. So we're in the home menu or the hard drive. Let us go into the downloads folder. And there is my file that I brought over. So I did install Node, as you'll be able to see. So I have Node and Npm installed. So I will be able to run JavaScript outside of the browser in my terminal. But I didn't install Angular or anything else other than that. So all this time, and I haven't even gotten the timer going. Okay, so let us do that. Let us run node count up timer.js. So I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to run my code, or it should have run my code, but already we're getting other errors. No such file or directory, open hello.txt. Oh, I thought it was named. Okay, let me see what the name of the file is. Count up timer. Oh, you know what the issue is? It's trying to find the text file that actually has my oh geez, you know what I got to do? I think I have to bring over this JavaScript file onto the desktop, because I did bring my my timer. So let me actually use the GUI for this instead of doing it through the terminal window. Okay, so that makes sense. So let's bring the count up timer over to the desktop where I do have hello.txt. And so hello.txt contains the time. And my timer app will be, is this time right? Oh yeah, this was the other day when I finished my stream at 10:32. Okay, so now I should be able to, now we're going to back out actually again. We got to go into the desktop, and now we'll be able to run the count up timer. And it'll be able to find the hello.txt file, hopefully. So far I can see that my time hasn't started going. So we are going to node count up timer.js. So here's the moment of truth. Okay, there we go. I could see that my timer is going, finally. Okay, so that took a little bit. We're already about 7 minutes in, and now our timer's going. So all that did not count. Okay, that's okay. Okay, so I've been getting used to this iMac. It's quite a different, it's quite an experience to have a 5K screen in front of you. I'm used to the 15-inch MacBook Pro. So I have a lot in front of me. It's a lot to look at. Looks really pretty. It's very quiet. I'm not used to how quiet it is. I'm used to my MacBook Pro sounding like a jet engine, especially when I plug in an external monitor with my laptop. But all right, that's neither here nor there. So now we have our timer going. Can I still? Okay, good. I can open up a new tab, and I'll be able to do stuff in here. All right, so the timer should be going on the bottom right. I see it going. And now I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. And there we go. We have it full screen. I always forget that you might not be able to see the bottom left of my screen. So if there's something that is down there, let me know in chat. Or I'm sorry if you're seeing this after the fact and you can't see what's behind there. Sometimes I forget. I realize. For anyone that's been watching for the last 8 minutes or 9 minutes, I would recommend that you scroll all the way to the end of this video to see what I end up creating, because as of right now, I have no idea what it's going to end up looking like. So before you waste your time watching this for a few hours, just scroll to the end, see if it's something that interests you, and maybe just skip around to see how I do specific things. Because I mean, I couldn't even get the timer going just before. It took me a little bit. But now the timer's up and running. It is counting up as we march towards 60 hours in about, we have about 10 or 11 days left in the month. I fell behind because I went away over the weekend with my friends, but now there's no more time to let up. Now we got to put in some serious hours. So, we'll see how many we put in today, and then we'll figure out over the weekend how many I'm gonna try to do a really long stream and plan that out. All right. So let's see, what am I going to be creating? Okay, let's get Angular up and running. So I'm going to try to create an Angular app using forms, or I'm going to try to figure out how to use Angular forms to be able to create like a submission app. And what I mean by that, it's like Maybe I'll have like some fields for people to fill out, like if I want to capture their name, their email address, and stuff like that. So I want to make a form that can capture that. We'll send it to a database in the back end, and we will be able to. We'll be able to. Maybe I'll create a little dashboard to show that stuff. So the dashboard I'm definitely not going to get to today because I already know that it's going to take me a while to get Angular and MongoDB and Mongoose up and running. So I'm going to create a little server. I'm going to create an Angular front end to do the forms. And I remember a long time ago I did the tutorial, and there's a couple of ways to do forms in Angular. So I have to kind of like, I'm going to have to refresh my memory and figure out how to do it again. So we'll see how that goes. If you're just joining, feel free to say hello in the chat. Or if you just stumbled upon this by accident and you're like, why am I watching this? I'm sorry, but I have a bet going on where I have to stream 60 hours this month, or else I lose some money. And we have about 10 days left in the month before I run out of time to be able to get up to 60 hours. As of right now, we're at 21 hours and 8 minutes and change. Okay, so let us get Angular up and running. Where is my? There we go. There's my my terminal. Let's see. All right, so let me open up the browser too. Mark, the stream is back for good. I'm going to be streaming pretty much every single day because I don't have that many days left, and I have a lot of hours to catch up on. So I'm clearing out my schedule. So after work and over the weekends, I'm going to be streaming until I get to 60 hours. So everything I've done, I have to do 2 more times in less time, in half the time. So there's going to be a lot of streaming going on. Yep. Okay, so to install Angular, I believe it's going to be npm Angular. Let me just Google it and just make sure that this is correct. I'm going to have to install the CLI. That's what it is. Actually, let me go to the Angular website, angular.io, and just get started. Just, I always forget, so I just want to make sure that I'm doing it right and I don't install like the wrong thing. All right, so the local setup. There we go. I'm going to have to install the Angular CLI globally so that anyone using this computer can access it. So I'm going to paste it. I might have to do sudo, but let's try this for now. And then if it gives me an error or gives me problems, then I'll fix it. All right, so let's see if npm install works. I think I'm going to have to do the sudo npm install -g Angular CLI. Yep, there it is. I'm going to have to run it again as the root administrator, or the super user, basically. Because right now I don't have permissions to do that. So I'm just going to type in sudo npm install, same idea. And it's going to ask me for my password, which I just entered. Would you like to share anonymous usage data? I never want to share data, especially if I don't know if it's truly anonymous, but I never like sharing data anyway. So let us type in N. Let's see. Would you like to share? Okay, so the answer is no. Sorry, Google. I don't want to share anonymous data with you. Okay, I think that's it. I think we have Angular installed. So ng, let's do ng version. And there it is. So we're up to Angular 10.0.7. So they have updated Angular since I last installed it updated it on my last computer. Okay, so now that the CLI is installed, the command line interface, I can now start creating an Angular app. So I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, where I'm going to create, let's see. So I'm going to use the ng new to create an app, and then I'm going to open up that app in Visual Studio Code. And then I'm going to bring in Bootstrap so that my styling is a little bit better. And then I'm going to go into the documentation and figure out how to create a form. So I'm just like throwing everything out there, what I plan on doing. I'm like thinking out loud. And I just had coffee too. I just drank a cup of coffee, so I should be awake. Hello, David Idell. Peace to you too. Okay. What did I just say I was going to do? Oh yeah, ng new. So we'll do it on the desktop. We'll do ng new, and we'll call this form app. Let's just do form app. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to need to add Angular routing, or I don't have to worry about that right now because I'm not going to really have routes for this form. It's just going to be one single page. And I guess you could argue that I shouldn't even use Angular, but for a simple app. But I'm just going to use it anyway because I like practicing what it is that I'm working with. I'm going to use CSS, and there it goes. It's installing the packages that it needs for me to be able to work on my project. And then once all of that is done, once it's done creating the folder and downloading whatever it needs, I'm going to open it up in Visual Studio Code. I will say that this computer is an absolute beast. It flies. So I've installed a couple of programs that I use like regularly, which is Camtasia, and this thing isn't even breaking a sweat. This is just flying. Okay. I have not agreed to the Xcode license agreement. Please run sudo. Oh my goodness. Let us do that. So we'll do that from within a terminal window to review and do. Okay. So let me do that. Let me just type that in. Hit the return key to view the license agreement. That is one beautiful license agreement. So I'm just going to hit space. Clearly, I'm not reading it. But I'm going to trust Apple on this one, and I'm going to type in agree. May have signed my own death warrant just now, but I guess we'll find out soon. Okay, agree is good. I think we're done. Let me see if that created, or I think it got stuck creating the folder. The specs, it's a 10-core i9, 3.6 gigahertz, 1 terabyte hard drive, Radeon 5700 with 8 gigabytes, graphics cards, graphic specs, 64 gigs of RAM, which I actually installed myself. So where is the... I had to take out the Apple RAM actually because it was like not working correctly when I had the Apple RAM in there with the RAM that I bought. So I just basically have 64 gigs and that's it. But that's it is... it's quite an understatement there. I have plenty of RAM now. Yep. And I'm actually watching how it's performing because I mean you probably didn't know, but my MacBook Pro when I would stream, the thing was dying. And right now it's not even, it's at like 6% utilization or like even less. All right, so there's a discrepancy. OBS is telling me around 5.9, 6%. Over here it says about 8, 9%. But that's okay. Okay, so once I do that, let me just try to create the new form app again, that folder. So I'm just going to run that again. We're going to say no to Angular routing and CSS. We'll do that again. Uh-oh, it already exists. Okay, so let's see. All right, so yeah, this computer, it's the last Intel Mac that Apple is probably going to release, I think. So, we'll see. It's probably going to last me a few years, more than a few years. Okay, so let's see. Where is, no, not that. Where is my, okay, there it is, form app. So let me bring that over to Xcode, or not Xcode, but Visual Studio Code. All right, so I have to give it permission. I have to bring it over from my other monitor. Let me close this one out. And let's go full screen on this one. All right. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller just because I really don't like it to be that big. I prefer small text. So we have our, I'm guessing it's going to work. Let's, what do I have to do to get this around? ng-serve. Okay, so let us go back in here and type in ng-serve. Actually, we have to go into the folder first. So cd into that form app folder and then ng-serve. And that should get the app up and running. And we'll be able to see it in the browser. So right now it's compiling all of that code. And let me get my browser ready. So I'm going to go to Safari, and I should be able to go to localhost 4200 once it is done, once it's ready. Oh, it looks like it brought my books, my history from the other computer, because I was using Safari on there. So yeah, I see all of my my other tabs open actually too. It's pretty interesting. All right, compiled successfully. So let's see if it actually did. There we go. Okay, so everything is up and running. So let me go over to my my source code here and clear out everything that's in there, because I don't really care. I don't need all that stuff. I just want to put a little header, an H1 that says hi. And let us, okay, there you go. It refreshed. So we could see that that is up and running. I'm actually going to shrink this so I can see the what I'm actually working on the left side. And we'll have the code on the right. And I can make this a little bit smaller because, you know, it doesn't have to be that wide. Actually, now that I realize it, I don't have some of my Visual Studio Code extensions installed. So I'm gonna have to download those. One that I like to use is called Prettier. It's a code formatter, so basically whenever I save the code, it automatically indents it, formats it, and makes it look pretty. So we'll install Prettier, and I believe this is the right one with almost 8 million downloads. So let's install that. And there we go. It's enabled globally. There's also some other things I have to fix in the settings probably for Visual Studio Code, because I don't really want to. I don't want to have, like, you know, 4 spaces in my code. I think right now. Oh, actually it says 2, so I'm okay with 2. And Prettier is running. You can see that in the bottom right of the page. All right. So if I was to add anything else to this, like a paragraph, just saying yo yo yo, and I hit save, it should pop up on the right, on the left, but it's not. That's weird. Oh, there it is. Okay. Maybe it's not auto-loading. Let me try again. Let me try another paragraph, another one. Let's save it. Oh, okay. Now it's auto-loading. It's auto-reloading, I should say. Okay, so we're good. We have that going. I'm going to leave this all there, and I'm going to install Bootstrap now. So you'll get to see the process. Hello, Wyatt. Wyatt is Queen 343. How's it going? Okay. Okay, what am I doing next? Okay, Bootstrap. Yes. Let me go back here and type in, or actually I'm going to have to open up another tab. We're going to have to install Bootstrap in the Form app folder. So we are going to npm install Bootstrap. And that I just remember, like, because I've installed Bootstrap a bunch of times. Hello. Okay, Bootstrap has been installed. So now I'm going to have to go back to my Angular project, and let me delete this spec file, because I don't do any testing. I have to go into the app module. No, it's not the module. I have to go into the angular.json. So here's where I have to add that style. The king of starting new projects without finishing them. So Dave, I mean, I could bring over all the projects. I'm going to do something that I could apply to the other project that I was working on. But since I'm on a new computer, I figured I'd just figure out the forms, and then once I do all of that, I could actually, that'll translate nicely when I go back to the other project, either tomorrow or the next day. Okay, so now I should be able to get Bootstrap up and running. So let me find it in the node modules folder / yeah, because we're on the outside here. So node modules / Bootstrap. If I remember correctly, it's node modules Bootstrap / dist / css / bootstrap.css. All right, so let me hit save and see if that actually works. Don't worry, Dave. We have plenty of time. We still have like 39 hours that we have to fill up. So I figured I'd start something new on a new computer. But it's not going to be like something I'm going to go crazy with. It's just trying to figure out how to do forms, which which I'm gonna have to figure out anyway for the other project. So I could like add new schools, add new teachers, and all that stuff. So all of that should apply. I'm gonna be practicing forms today. So I think I got that working. I'm gonna have to restart the server, I believe, because I changed angular.json and it does not detect that that was changed, or it has to recompile that also. So let me stop that and reserve it, I guess, ng-serve. And we should see on the left, when localhost updates, it should look a little different. It should look better, or bootstrapized. There we go. So it does look better. So now we have Bootstrap installed, and it's working correctly. So this was the right path, luckily. It might be a little bit hard to tell, just because of how small it is. But let me see. If I make it a little bit bigger, you can see that, and I should be able to. If I inspect it, how do I inspect? Why is that not showing? Am I not able to inspect the Safari? All right. This is the issue with the new computer. Like some of your settings or preferences get messed up, or they don't work correctly. That's okay. We'll figure out how to inspect it later on. Okay, what's next? So I said I was going to install Bootstrap, and now I have to figure out forms, Angular forms. So let me actually expand this a little bit and go into the documentation, because I know there are different ways to do forms. Is it in tutorials? Techniques, fundamentals, where is it? Where are forms? Okay, here we go, tutorials. So we could do building a template-driven form. So I know that there's two ways of doing forms. There's template-driven way, and there's also the, I think it's called the programmatic way or something. Actually, what is it called? Let me Google it. I need to know. Angular forms. So forms in it. Template-driven, and what's the other way? Reactive, that's the word. Okay, template-driven forms and reactive forms. And I think reactive is when you like do it using code. So you create the form using code and JavaScript, it's JavaScript, right? Or TypeScript. Or the template-driven, where you like kind of do it in the HTML. So let's do the let's just jump right into it. Let's do a reactive form. All right, so we're gonna be using TypeScript for this. Let's go over this overview. It uses explicit and immutable approach to managing the state of a form at a given point in time. So what I want eventually to happen is, I want to capture a whole bunch of different fields, and then when I hit submit, send a JSON to the server. So we'll figure that stuff out later, but I have to figure out what my form will look like. So maybe before I jump into forms, I'll go into, actually, I'm trying to think if I should do it in here or actually start with what it should look like. Let's get Bootstrap. Let's start with what the forms are going to look like. Let's go into documentation and look at what we have in our components. Is it in components? Where are forms? Or where's input groups? Maybe that'll be it. Let's see. So how is this going to look? And what do I need to capture also? I have to think about what I'm going to ask the users to enter that I want submitted. Multiple inputs. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Having the first and last name on one line. It's pretty cool. I don't think I've seen that before. Oh, I'm over here looking at input groups, but the forms link was right above it. So yeah, this is what I want. Something like this, where we might ask for an email address, name. I don't need a password yet right now. Let's just let's start with something like this, one of these forms. And I think I did forms, or I created like the front end, or at least the kind of like the HTML forms in the last project also. I had something similar like for my filtering that I did a few streams ago. All right, so let's let's figure out how to do this. Actually, I kind of like this layout where we have like the what they have to write on the left, and then an input box maybe on the right. So so let's use let's see if we could just copy this code here. Okay, and let's go into our app component.html. Let me keep that open, and let's clear out everything that's here. We're gonna need a container to, not con, but container. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Container. We're gonna need a row, and let's go full width here, as long as the page is medium sized or so. And now I'm just gonna paste my form, hit enter, and there we see it on the left. All right, so I don't want this to be static, a static email. I want them to enter their emails. So let's go back to our documentation and figure out how to do that. Okay, email address. So it's going to be this input, I believe. Oh, this is, okay, so it's going to be form groups, it looks like. That's how they do it over here. So we have a form group row. Okay, so it has to have that class on it. So everything in between here I think I could use. Let me just make sure that that works. Oops. Oh, it's not wrapping around. So let me go into my settings and make sure that I... how do I toggle word wrap? There we go. Okay, so now I can see. Now it doesn't go to the left. Let me close the minimap also. I don't need to see the minimap. There we go. So I have all my code there. Actually, it's weird because when I'm hitting save, it should be automatically indenting stuff, but it's not. So is Prettier not... Does it not detect HTML? Maybe not. All right, so I'll have to be careful with my HTML for now. No, there's no way. There's no way. Prettier definitely has to do that. I'll figure that out later. Not a big deal right now, but I thought it should be cleaning up my code as I hit save. All right, so let's see. We have... Okay, there we go. So let me remove... Okay, so what's going on here? Why is this messed up? So for static email, but that's not what I need. Okay, so this is the class of the static email. So let's bring this class to this label. Actually, let's copy that class to this label. All right, there we go. Our email address is indented a little bit. Let me make this a little smaller so you could all see. And we probably need to bring the same kind of class to, or this class to our input right over here. So instead of form control, it's form control dash plain text. So let me hit enter. Oh, that's weird. Doesn't look right. Oh, because they put it inside of a small column here. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to have to put this input inside of that small column. And let me close out of that div. Yes, there we go. Okay, there we go. So this looks right. Actually, does it look right? I feel like this should be on the left. And now I could delete this. But I feel like this is not formatted the way I was thinking. Form group row. So this I could remove all this. But it doesn't look the way that I thought it would. I thought we would have a... That might be because I'm doing this. So let us maybe delete that and see what that does. Let me delete this div and this div on the outside. Although I don't think that's right. No. Okay, so let's see. Why isn't that working correctly? Let me go back to the Bootstrap forms over here. And see why that is. So here we go. form group row. Okay, so I have form group rows. I have that correct. If you want, no, I don't want that. So this one's 2 and this one's 10. So I don't know why it's not looking correct. Maybe I should, instead of, you know what, maybe it's because I'm doing that. So let's do an XS instead of a medium. So that should, no matter what, no, it didn't fix it. Call form label, email address. It's not looking the way I want it to. Or maybe it's because it's, no, it's not. Oh, wait, maybe it is. Maybe it is right. I just had to make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, I guess if it's too small, then it collapses, or it stacks on top of each other. But as long as the window is has enough of a width, then it will look right. And that is because of this, because of the SM inside of this. If I change it to XS, I'm sure that it would always stay on the left, regardless of how narrow the page is. Let us give it a little bit more room. Within a row div, the column div must add up to 12. Yes. Are they not? They add up to 12. 2 plus 10, Dave. You're gaslighting me over here. You're making me go crazy. Wait, this one's also, okay, 2 and 10. Each row, the nesting is messed up. Really, Dave? Within a row. They're in separate rows. So you're saying like this div should be should have a class outside of it on top, like, as well? I think you're lying. Let me give it some more space anyway. Let's do 4 and 8. And 4 and 8. Let me hit save. It didn't help much. Oh, you are right, though. It's definitely not looking right, so something's wrong. Get rid of lines 10 and 11. 10 and 11. Oh, you mean the whole thing should be in one form group. Let's save. There you go. So yeah, that is what we wanted. 4 and 8 looks weird. Let's go with wait, what did I just do? Let's go with 3 and 9. 3 and 9. So let me hit save, and there we go. We have a little bit more space. Thank you, Dave. Way to help me pair program. I see what you did there. All right, so I needed to have everything that I want in my form to be inside of this form group row and not be in separate form group rows. Good looks. Okay, so I want to capture the column classes should be on divs, not elements. But this, I literally copied it from the Bootstrap documentation here, and they have that on the elements, which is weird. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to identify the things I want. So I want to capture the person's name, their full name. Email address, I already have. No, there we go. Let me think. All right, I mean, I could literally come up with things that I could use at work. So their name, their email address, something called their file number. Let me actually comment all this out so I could leave it in there. Their file number. Okay, as long as it adds up to 12. Yes, I'll make sure it adds up to 12. Okay. Full name, email address, file. I could do a multi-line comment like that in HTML. Yep, I guess so. Full name, email address, file number. What else do I need? Oh, what else could I capture? School, the school that they work at. So in the DOE, we call that the DBN. I think that's district borough number or something. What else do I want to capture? Maybe the grades they teach. It's kind of sad when like my personal projects are all basically like ways that I could improve things at work. So I'm like working outside of work, but it's fun. This is fun, and I have to stream anyway and do this, so might as well just use that. Yeah, and this is going to tie in with what I'm making anyway in the other projects. So I'm going to have to combine the forms anyway. So we have the name, the email address, the file number, the school. What else? You know what? I mean, this could be, I could do this a form for something else. It's still work related, but it could be a form for submitting their hours, a teacher's form for submitting hours. Yeah, I could do the program would be in a drop down. So we have a bunch of programs that teachers could be in or accepted to. So I could have a drop down with the program. I could have a drop down with schools, but that would be crazy because there's like, you know, almost 2,000 schools. So to have a drop down that's 2,000 long is kind of nuts. Maybe it would be better to be like a search bar or something. File number, that I definitely want. Email address, full name. Let's see. So I could create a form for them to get paid. So when we do training sessions, right now they have to do a few things. They have to download a PDF. They have to like do an Adobe PDF thing. Then that gets emailed to them. Just crazy. What's type ahead? What do you mean type ahead? What does that mean? So let's go with name. And, oh, I don't need password, so let me get rid of that. For the school lookup. Okay, so it's called a type ahead. Gotcha. Type ahead Bootstrap. Is that an Angular thing or just like another library that exists that lets you do that? Maybe Angular? Angular Bootstrap. Let's do that. So it'll be easier for people to find like something with like 2,000 schools, let's say, and so it'll be easier for them to find their own school. Yes. Okay. So. Okay. Dave, do you know if there's anything to like? I mean, it must be able. Anyone could create anything, but to fill out a PDF using. So like, let's say I submitted a form and it automatically filled out a PDF, and then like emailed it to me. Angular Material has it. Okay, so instead of Bootstrap, it would be Angular Material type ahead. Is there a way to like hit like submit in an Angular form and then have it create a PDF based on the information, and then that gets like emailed to me or something? All right, let me find what I'm actually thinking about here. I'm gonna pull up what I'm talking about. Actually, it's in my notes, I think. Hold on, let me find. Where do I have my notes? All right, come on, iCloud. npm PDF make mailgun. All right, so now we're going crazy. Mailgun, we're pivoting everywhere. npm, you said npm PDF make. So let me show you what I mean actually, because this could actually be helpful for what we do here. Let me copy this link and show you what it looks like. So right now what we do is we have teachers use this Adobe Sign thing to fill out this this sheet that allows us to see or that allows us to kind of like submit for them to get paid hourly and the hourly rate. So when they come to our trainings or when they work with us, every single teacher has to submit this. So a lot of teachers have issues with this because this form isn't perfect. There are lots of ways to screw this up. So I'm wondering if there would be a way to like capture these things and then fill out this form with those things and turn it into a PDF. Embed hello sign widget. Embed hello sign widget. Let me just search for that. Embedded signing. Let's see. Yeah, because this requires them to sign at the bottom. Yeah, maybe we'll have to talk about this like off stream. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Teachers they fill out this form, they do all the problem is that this form has like everything highlighted and it really doesn't need everything highlighted. And it's overwhelming. So, it'd be nice if I just capture what I need and then like they hit submit or they sign it somehow in Angular and then it creates the PDF for them. Although this does look nice, but it has a lot of fields that they don't really need. But I like how they do their sign thing here. So like, you could sign your name and, hit apply and then that signature. So let's say, there's my signature. And if I want to put it over here, I just click, let's say I put the dates, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then click here to sign. And it's cool that it puts the signature there. So I'm gonna have to look at some of those things that you brought up. But the idea would be that instead of it is a form, but instead of overwhelming them with this, they would just fill out the information that I need, hit submit, and it would automatically create the form and email me. So that way I don't have to have them download. So the way that this works right now is that they fill this out. Then when they do finish filling it out, there's a blue button that shows up over here. It says sign. Actually, let me just fill out let me put something for all the required fields so you could see what I mean. 8, 1, 20, 1, 2, 3. All right, what else do they need? Okay, today's date. So let's just say 8, 2, 20. All right, there. Once they're done, they click this button. I mean, it's kind of nice, but it's overwhelming because a lot of people screw up because there's so many places to screw up. And everything's highlighted so people don't easily see like what actually is required, even though there's stars everywhere. So then they hit click to sign. And what this does is it emails them a PDF. So it makes teachers have to do a lot of work. Whereas, ideally they would just like literally hit submit and then we would get it on our end. So maybe instead of overwhelming them with this interface, I would just have like what I need. So, all right, so I called it program. So it's program name, and I would just have a drop down for that. I would have the date of the training date, maybe that. Or maybe based on the training date, it would show different items in the drop down. Instead of showing everything all at once, you just show the things that actually happened on that day. So if there was only one training on a specific date, then that's the only thing it would show. So that makes a little bit more sense. That's a better user experience rather than showing everything. What else did we need over here? So name, the payroll period ending. So that we asked them for that, but they don't need to fill that out. Because the way that works, I could do it behind the scenes. So if their trainings were after the 15th of the month, the payroll period ending is the last day of the month. And if it was before the 15th, then the payroll period ending is the 15th of the month. So that they don't need to write that down. I could do that behind the scenes based on the date of the training. So I'm gonna write that down. Behind the scenes I will complete the payroll. So the period ending. So either the 1st or I should say the 15th or the 30th or 31st. Or I guess if it's February, it could be the 28th. Or if it's a leap year, it could be the 29th. So there's a few dates for the period ending. And this depends on their training date. So if, let me start putting a conditional here. So if training is before the 15th, the period ending is the 15th. Else it'll be the last day of the month. So maybe, I'm sure there's probably some library that could, I could do like date.last day of the month for this month or whatever, instead of me having to figure out how to do that. Although that shouldn't be too bad. Okay, so I got that. Let's see what else is required here. I don't care about their license, their title, their work hours. Yes, time in and time out. That I do care about. So based on the date of the training, I need to know what time they actually arrived or started getting trained. So program name, time in, time out. Okay. And I need their signature. I wonder if there's libraries to be able to allow people to sign something. Let's see. Let's figure that out. Some kind of signature mechanism. It'd be cool to actually implement it. Otherwise, if they just sign their names or type out their names, maybe I have like a modal or a pop-up that says, sign your name again to sign it for real with all of this stuff. Almost like a license agreement kind of thing. But they have to write out their names or type out agree or something. And I think that's it. I think that's all I really need for my form. Everything else I should be able to do on the back end. And I could have validation on the form. That'd be nice too. So that, if they type in the wrong email or an email that's not acceptable, I could ask them to, type in the correct one. So they can't even submit the form unless it's perfect, which is the issue that we have right now. A lot of these teachers are... through no fault of their own, they make a mistake, but there's no, checking. There's no validation mechanism. So they make a mistake, they submit it, and then, as we're going through it, then we catch a mistake, and then we have to email them to resubmit it, to redo it, to re-download it, and resubmit it. Just a very inefficient process. So it'd be cool if we could make it more efficient using a form. All right, so here is what I'm trying to do. So the full name first. Let's go back to what is this? The Bootstrap Forms. We're going to ask them for their name first. And I'm going to actually make all of these, I'm going to give them the class of large because a lot of these teachers are a little bit older and they can't see like small little boxes. So they need things to be bigger here. So where does that go? Maybe over here, column form label, form control large. So wherever there's a form control, I think I'm going to have to add the form control large. Let's see if that works. Let me save and see if it makes it a little bit bigger. Where is my app? Okay. Is that this one? Let's hit save. Yeah, I made it bigger. That's good. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so that box is way bigger. That's good. So we have our email address here. Let me actually kind of comment. That's not how we comment in HTML. So this is going to be the email. Let's do the full name first. That's how we comment that. So let us... So it's going to be a form-group, and then we're going to add the row to that. I think, right, Dave? You got to keep me on my toes over here. We'll see if that works. Actually, no, that all that has to go inside. Whoops. That was the same issue I had before. I had multiple form groups, and this should be inside of here. And then my full name should be inside of this form group. Same idea. I don't like that Prettier is not formatting my HTML. So let me see if I can Google that. Prettier HTML. What did I do? Prettier HTML. Does it not have HTML support? Options, maybe it's in the options. I didn't do that right. Yeah, it's here. It says HTML, but maybe, I mean, maybe I have to refresh. Yeah, HTML is right here. It should be automatically formatting it. Maybe I have to close out of VS Code and come back in. Maybe it'll require that. Let's try that out. Wow, that was pretty fast. My other computer would have taken a few seconds to do that. Let us save. No, it didn't. It's not fixing the formatting. That makes me upset. Let me look in the documentation why it's not. Let me Google it. Prettier not formatting HTML. Oh, maybe it's not. I have to change the setting so it does it on the save. I have a feeling that might be the issue. Let me see if I go into my preferences, settings. Oh, on save, not autosave. I like to personally save myself. I like to do Command S. I know some people have it autosave, but it's not my style. Check extension settings. Prettier. Config path. Maybe it needs a config path and it doesn't have one right now. No, it doesn't. I don't want to require that. Let's see. Single quote, no, that's not it. I feel like there's like an on save feature that I don't have enabled right now. Maybe let me type in Prettier on save. How to use Prettier in VS Code. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Format on save. That's what I need. Let me see if I could find that. Format on save. There we go. Format a file on save. A formatter must be available. So Prettier is a formatter. The file must not be saved after delay, and the editor must not be shutting down. I think that's it. So let me check that off. All right, let's test it out. So now when I save, if I mess up the alignment and I hit save, there we go. Look at that. I knew it was something like that. All right, so we got that working. We'll figure out this embedded signing stuff in a little bit. PDF make, I want to open that up. Mailgun. Angular material you mentioned, Dave. Type ahead. So I'll keep those things open. I mean, already we're getting a million tabs, so maybe we're going a little too crazy with tabs. But let's finish getting our form filled out here. Let me see, how many people do we have watching right now? Just 2 of us. Actually there's 3 of us, I think. So there's 2 viewers. That's great. Okay, so we're going to put the full name. We already have the email address. So I'm going to cut that out from here or delete that. And we're going to put the full name right now. So how is someone going to submit a name? So what is that going to look like? Something like this. So form group row. So the label, we're going to need a label and we're going to need an input. Label and inputs. Okay, so did you have fun camping and rafting, Dave? I never got to ask you. There we go. I like when I hit save and it automatically formats it all. It's beautiful. Actually, why is my word wrap? Okay, I have to toggle it back on. There we go. So this is going to be not for a static email, but this is going to be for, the full name. No value. Obviously, I don't want that in there. So this is going to be for the full name. You did not have fun. Wow. Full name. The input's going to be text. And I think that's okay. Form control, plain text. And I want to make sure that this has the right class. So let's give it this class for the name label. Actually, it says SR only. That is not what I want. I want to make sure it has this class. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe it should not have the form control large on this. Definitely on this one though. Form control, plain text. On the input, we should have. All right, let's see what that looks like. Full name. That's weird. I think the RV idea would be cool, Dave. If we plan it out in advance, like we could rent an RV and like drive it around the country and do something crazy. I think maybe the label, this one I don't think requires a form control on it. Let me hit save. You know what? Maybe it should, because otherwise then it's getting made smaller. Why is the input not showing? That one is, but the full name isn't. So let's see. So the label. So that looks good. Well, I don't like how it does that. I don't know. Can't control it. That's just how it does the labels. For full name. This is the class. Form label, form control LG. So the input's what's messed up. So the input type is text. Oh, it says read only, but it's definitely not read only. That's not what we want. This class, it has its own ID. Actually, I probably should. For example, form control input, example, form control input. Same ID. That's the for and that's the ID. Okay, so this is the for and this is the ID. That's okay. And I don't need a placeholder. So let me just hit save. And we still don't have a, oh, there's the, oh, I know what's happening. Oh, we didn't give it the right class. So we have to make sure that our input is in its own div with the right class. So that's why it's not looking right. There we go. There we go. So now we could have the full name, we have the email address, and that's looking a little bit better. All right, so let me copy that, and we're going to do another one. So we'll have the name, the file number. Okay, so that's going to be I think a 6 or 7 digit number. So I could also validate and make sure that people type in their number correctly. All right, so name, email. Let's do file number after that. So that is going to end right there. Let me paste this. This is going to be the file number. So let me call that the file number. File number with the right class, the right, everything else I think looks right. So we could add the file number, the name, email address, all that stuff. Okay, so we have the file number, the full name, the school. So that's going to be the one. Yes, that's going to be with the one with the drop down. So we'll figure out, I'm going to just put a placeholder there for now, some drop down, but then we'll figure out how to use type ahead or something like that, so we could find like one school out of like thousands, let's say, or hundreds. Okay, so file number, school. So that is going to be, right, from here, we're going to create another one. And this is going to be the school. And we're going to use a drop down. So let's go over to Bootstrap and figure out how to get a drop down that people can select from. Actually, it's not going to be a drop down button. So maybe it's going to be something else. Maybe it's in the forms. I could find something like that. Yeah, okay. An example select, I guess. It would be that. Example select. Okay, so let's copy this. And we're going to use that as kind of like our template here. All right, so how do we do this? So select, the ID is that. So let's use this class. So it's a form control. Form control, but not plain text. So I'm just going to bring over this class. Same thing with the label. We're going to bring over this class to make sure that it looks right. Let me hit save. And this is going to be the school. Your school, maybe I could call it. Let me delete this file number stuff because now we don't need this. I got everything else, right? Oh no, I didn't get the div, the div that it should be enclosed in or nested in. So after the select, we're going to have a closing div. Let me hit save, and that should be good. There we go. So now our project should have a drop down that does not look right. All right, what did we do wrong here? All right, so we have the school. Oh, maybe we didn't. No, that's not the issue. Oh, we have a form group again when we don't need it. Wait, maybe we do. Div class. No, we don't need the form group. So this is messed up. So let me delete that div. I'm assuming that the form group is already being, let me just make sure I find that div. Okay, so what's this div? Okay, so that's this. Is that correct? Is that the way that these are done? So the labels are in 3s and the divs are in 9, the inputs. So the label is in 3 and the div is 9. All right, let's hit save. Okay, and that works. Actually, it's not I did it wrong. I didn't do the drop down. So this is right, but it's not the right one. I didn't copy the right one. I wanted to do the example select, and I chose the example multiple select. Not cool. I messed up. All right, so what do I have to change? The form group, no. Select multiple. No, that's not it. Oh, I just have to remove, I guess, multiple. Let me remove that attribute. Hit save. And now, there we go. Now we have a drop down. Although it looks really messed up because it's so big. I guess we'll leave it like that for now. So if someone chooses a different one, that's okay. Yeah, it's kind of ugly. Whatever. As long as it kind of looks right. So their name, their email address, file number. Actually, maybe I should put placeholders. I could put a placeholder just so that they know what they need to write. We'll get to that eventually. Okay, so we have our school. Now our training dates. We're going to need some sort of calendar for that. Oh my goodness. This is so, like I'm using the, I bought the trackpad and I keep like placing my hand on it and then like double clicking or screwing up the click because I have the keyboard, this tiny little keyboard right in front. So maybe I should separate it a little bit more so it's not as easy to misclick. And I also have a mouse, but I'm not using the mouse because I'm pretty used to using a trackpad, having used a MacBook for like the last 10 years. Okay, so the training date. So that's going to be some sort of calendar thing. So let's put that underneath the school dropdown. So training dates, let us highlight this, comment it out, and let's see what they have in Bootstrap for us when it comes to doing some sort of calendar thing. Let me search. Calendar? I saw something with calendar in here. Third party. Okay, so we're going to need a third party widget, it seems, for the calendar. Some other library we'll find for the calendar. Okay, so the training date. We're going to use the same label but call it the training date. All right, hit save. So that'll be on the left, and then they're just gonna have to click and choose from a calendar. Let me see if I could find something for that. Bootstrap calendar. Oh, this was updated way too many years ago, so maybe it's not the best one. Date picker. Maybe that's the one. So let's do Bootstrap for date picker. Let me open up a couple of these and see what's available. All right, so it would look like this. So they would click this button and click the date. Okay, what does the front end code look like? Okay, so I'm gonna need to bring in jQuery also. Bootstrap's already being brought in, and I'm gonna need to bring in these JavaScript things. All right, so that's okay. We could do that. We could use that, or we could bring it into this. So let me command copy. Let's put that in the index.html here under app root. So we have that Jigglygo, I don't know how to pronounce that package. We're going to bring in jQuery. So this is going to probably hit the CDN. Wait, what did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't close this script. So that's why we're getting yelled at here. When I hit save, it'll automatically format it. So actually, no, we don't need the type. It knows that it's JavaScript. So I'm just going to remove that. It's just superfluous. So we have our jQuery, we have that package, that JSON. Sorry, not JSON, that JavaScript. It looks like we need some CSS here also. Whatever, let's copy it. And that we could put, we'll put it right underneath. It doesn't really matter. And then in the body, we just throw in this. So let's see if that works. Let's copy paste this. Hopefully that works. Let's go back into our app component, and we're going to paste that right underneath the label, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so looking back at our templates, all right, it looks like it completely broke it. No, it didn't. It worked, kind of. All right, so that's not looking perfect, but let's see what's going on. What's going on here? Where is it? Maybe I forgot to include something. Oh, maybe no. I have Bootstrap already. Or maybe these need to be in the head instead of after the. Maybe that matters in Angular. So let's throw these not after the app root. Let's throw them in the head and see if that has any effect. So we have the jQuery. We have this minified JavaScript and this CSS. So let me hit save. And let's see if that made any difference. Nope. Still looks exactly the same. Why is that? So in the body, we have the input. What does this actually look like? Oh, there we go. This does not look right. Something looks off or wrong. UI library. Well, let's see if we can find another example. So Bootstrap for date picker. Maybe you want to try this one. Let's see. This looks like something we could use. All right, I want something easier. Bootstrap for date picker. All right, our timer's still going, right? Everything's still good? Yes. 22 minutes, sorry, 22 hours, 14 minutes, and we're still going. All right, let's open some of these and see which one looks good. And then we could delete, we could remove this because it didn't work. So the jQuery we're removing, that actually did it not work? I wonder if it didn't work because maybe I needed to like reserve it or something. Hello, Error Sans. What's up? Maybe we could try reserving it. So I'm working right now on a form. So part of my job, we have a process that's very inefficient. We have some teachers fill out this Adobe sign page, and a lot of them make mistakes because there's a lot of fields in here that they don't need to fill out, and that screws up things, or or sometimes they leave things out that are required because the required thing isn't correct here sometimes. So I'm trying to make a form that will just ask them everything we need, and then when they hit submit, it automatically creates the PDF somehow. So that's what we're working on right now. And I'm using another computer. So this is the project I decided to start on today, instead of trying to bring over my code, all the project files and the code from the other projects. Yep. So we'll see if we'll see how far we get. I have a lot of energy right now, considering I was working all day, because I drank a big cup of coffee about an hour and a half ago, or an hour ago or so. So we have the energy to go for a few hours right now. Although I've been yawning a little bit. All right, maybe I could use, well, can I see an example of this one? Yeah, it's something. I can't think of anything else to do, so I could continue on the previous project, but I figured I'd work on this because I'm also gonna have to use Angular Forms, which will help me in my other project, because I need a way to create schools and teachers and all these different things, which is gonna require a form anyway. So this is related, very closely related to what I've been working on over the past few streams anyway. So I didn't mind doing this for now. Installation docs. Let me see. Let me get started and see how that works. Yeah, this is what I want. All right. This is what I'm talking about. Let us let's get this working. Is there anything else that looks good? All right, forget this one. We're gonna go with the one that looks nice. I don't even think this works. So let's use this. How do we get started on this one? Some minimum setup. Time, no. Date only, yes. This is what I want. There's some JavaScript here, but I think I have to install some stuff first. I may leave soon, but I'll be back within 20 to 30 minutes. I will be here, Error Sans. I will be here for at least another hour. I have to put in a lot of hours because I'm way behind pace. I always do this to myself. Whenever I make a bet, I fall behind, and then at the end I have to kill myself to go to get close to my desired number of hours, or to not lose the bet. But I'm having fun, so it's all good. Let me see if these, I mean, these should work. Oh, this is using Moment, the Moment library. Let's see how if this actually is working. So is this able to get the, yes, it is able to get the JavaScript. What about this one? You just make sure that it's able to use the CDNs. Yes, it's able to get that JavaScript. And let's see if it's able to get this CSS. And if that works, then I'm just going to copy these 4 lines of code. Yep, that works. And just to double check, just to make sure, let's see if we can grab the jQuery also from this link. Yes. Okay, so this should work. So I don't have to install anything. I should just copy paste these links into my project. Okay, let's go back to the index.html and bring those in. So let's throw them in right there. So I'm going to hit save, and now I can now I should be able to like copy paste one of these things and bring it in. All right, so this is date and time, but I just really want the date. I don't really care about the times right now. Actually, I will, but not yet. Just the date. So this is what I want. So this class row, form group, this is what I'm going to need, I believe. Oh, but this is using Font Awesome also, and I don't think I have that installed. Yeah, that's how it's doing the little glyph, the little calendar thing. All right, we'll get that working too, but let's see if this works. Data target, and then I'll have that JavaScript in there. Okay, so let's copy that into the area I need. So the date is going to be right over here. I hit save, and also I need to bring in this JavaScript. I wonder if I could do the JavaScript like this though. I have a feeling I might have to put it outside of this file. But let's save and see what comes of this. All right, let's see. Training date. Okay, so now when I click, there we go. So when I click on this button right here, right now you don't see the icon because I didn't install the package that has all the little tiny images. But once I do, I'll be able to choose a date. Although right now it's also putting in the time, but that's not what I want. Okay, so let's go back and see how we can do that. Let me close out of some of these tabs. This does have date only though. I don't know why it's inputting the time. Input group dates. Input group dates. Date time picker input. Date time picker input. Why is it showing the time? No icon. Actually, yeah, let's do the no icon one. Although it doesn't look as nice. Enable disabled dates. Oh, there's some dates that are not enabled. That would make sense. You know, we should only really show the dates that have events. Linked pickers, what is that? I think I want to do time separately, just so, you know, so people know, because the interface doesn't look perfect. View mode. Oh, that's a little hardcore. Minimum view. Yeah, I mean, we'll disable, like, you know, some days of the week, like Saturdays might not have sessions. Oh, here we go, inline. Ooh, I like this. Actually, this is better. This is what I like. It has the time right next to it and the calendar on the left. This is beautiful. Let's go with that. Can I do that? Can I just copy all this code over, or do I have to actually, can I just do this? Date time picker 13. Let's find out. So let's delete all this. We'll put this date time picker 13 there, this div, and now we need to bring in this JavaScript. Let me put it right underneath and hope that it works. All right, something's wrong because it's not automatically formatting it. Yeah, it's not automatically formatting my code. So what's wrong here? I might have deleted another div that I shouldn't have. Let's find out. Yeah, okay, so this is right. So let's delete this script, this div, this. Oh, I need the input. No, I don't need the input. So we can delete the input, and maybe we'll leave. No, we'll delete that div also. So maybe we have an extra div here, actually. Yeah, I think this div is extra. There we go. All right, so what I need to do is bring in this div after that label. And I could bring in this script underneath all of that. So let me just have that outside of the div. Actually, no, maybe I don't think it matters. We could have it outside. There we go. When we save, and now when I go back to my form, it does not work. Of course not. Maybe the script needs to be right there also. And it's not showing up. So why is that? I guess maybe it needs all this stuff. I mean, we could try copying all this. I think it's going to get screwed up by the column, the way that this has to be done. Let me just paste this, hit save, and what we could do is remove some of these things. So actually, let's see what it looks like right now first. See if it actually even looks right. No, it does not. So we're having some errors here. How can I see the... there's something wrong here where it's not showing me... oh, come on, Apple. Let me make it google.com. There's something off where I'm not seeing the developer tools. Maybe that's why? Is that all I needed to do? No. Oh, there it is. Inspect element. Okay. So now we could see if there were any issues. All right, it doesn't look like it. Let me put this on the left side, on the right side. It's kind of weird underneath. How do I change that? Can I click and drag it? No. There we go. I like it on the right side. So we're not getting errors, which is a little off. It's weird. I'm not seeing the training dates anywhere. Oh, Okay, let's see. Let's start by removing things we definitely know should not be in there. So I don't think it should be in a form group. It shouldn't be again in another row. Or that's actually we could leave the size. So let's remove that div and just make this 9 and make this small. Okay, so there's the date time picker. There's the script that grabs it and does things. So now we're still not getting it. What could the issue be? It's weird because the other one worked. I mean, does it work if I just put all of this? All right, let's try something crazy. Let's delete everything we have here and just have this calendar thing and see what happens. So I hit save and nothing is showing up. So okay, so this entire thing is messed up. It's just not working. So let me go back first. There we go. Let me hit save. And we should get our stuff back. All right, why is that not working? The inline does not work. Why is that? Let me see if I could search for another one. Inline Bootstrap date picker. Date time picker. Not pictor, picker. Okay, there we go. I think this is going to be the same project. Maybe not. This looks a little different. Oh no, is it? Looks a little different, but maybe it's Daytime Picker 12? I think I have 13 over here. So let's try 12. Is this the same library? Let's try 12. Let's just change it to 12, hit save. Yeah, I don't think it'll work, but that's fine. So here's the 9. Call small 9. Maybe I could, let me delete that. Div call 9 small. Just not filling it in the way it should. That would have been nice. Having an inline calendar right in our form, it would have been beautiful. Yeah, because who needs... All right. We're not giving up. We're gonna find another solution here, or we're gonna try a little bit longer. Let's open up a couple of these. February 2020. Maybe this one will work. Date and time picker based on Twitter Bootstrap. 50,000 installs. All right, how's it work? Actually, they shouldn't even be putting the time themselves. That should be a drop down based on the training date or the training name. That should be automatically filled out, I think, also. So let me process that in my head. Hold on. So we're gonna have the training dates. Let's see. So if I know the training date, then I know which programs are available, or which trainings were run on that day. Let me delete all this stuff. That didn't work. All right, so the training dates, let me think out loud here. If we know the training date, we can know what was offered, and we know the times that was offered. So they don't have to fill that out, because that's they could screw that up, and I don't want them to do that. If they just pick the date and then the event, maybe in the event title will have the time. I could also do a drop down like this. Did that work? Yep. But instead of numbers, I'll just have dates. But why is it looking like that? Why isn't it spaced right? Label. Form control looks fine. Why does that happen? Or is that just the way that it looks? Email address, file number. Let me make this a little bit. Okay, so we have email address, file number, the training. Okay, the training dates. We could have the dates right here. 8/20, 20, 8/21, 20. 8/22. So we could. I mean, it doesn't look as nice as a calendar. That's my problem. That's my issue with this. But this could work. And then based on the training, based on the date, based on whatever date that they choose, that'll show them which trainings they will offer them specific trainings based on that. So let's do that. So based on the training dates, we are now able to offer the training title, let's say. So training title, or the title of the training. Title of training. And it's not going to be a drop down again. It is going to be a drop down. What am I saying? So depending on what they choose depending on the date that they choose, it might be like session 1. Be something like that, session 1, or whatever the name of the training is. Learning to code. Maybe there was one from 9 to 12 p.m. Or maybe JavaScript, advanced JavaScript we'll put. So whatever it was, whatever the name of the training is. I'm just giving some examples here so someone understands what I'm thinking. Beginner Python, or beginner Python we'll go with. And that was at, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., let's say. Let's just add a hyphen there to keep it consistent. So depending on what the date that the person chooses, that's going to affect what titles of the trainings it's going to show them. And let me delete those last two options. So maybe it shouldn't show anything at first. So maybe we'll just have an empty option. Or we'll have a hyphen initially. But I got to make it so that they can't choose that hyphen. They have to choose the actual title of the training. Or maybe I make it So now I'm thinking like, ahead. I can make it disabled until they choose the training date. And once they choose the training date, then I could show this. So I'm gonna just write disable this. Disable until date chosen above. So that's just a note to myself. So we have the full name, we have the email address, we have the, oh my goodness, this trackpad is not, it's not like the MacBook trackpad. Something's a little off. Maybe it's just my palms touching it or something. All right, so name, email, file number, the schools that they're at. Let me just use a better name than 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just do PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and PlayStation or Public School 5. So there I hit save. So choose the school, choose the training date, and then the title of the training. And that automatically captures the correct time. Palms sweaty, mom spaghetti, definitely. All right, hold on. I need to blow my nose for a second over here. So let me mute this out of respect for all of you. So that will that'll automatically capture the time. Like on the back end, I'll figure all that stuff out depending on when this thing was offered. Hello, Error. Welcome back. So we're making some progress. It doesn't look great, but it's getting there. And then I'll figure out how to, once people choose whatever, then we will be able to hit submit at the end. So we're going to need a big submit button at the end of all this. All right, what else do I want to capture? So we have the training date and time. That automatically will be offered. I'll figure out how to do the disabled thing. What else do I have here? Oh yeah, the period ending, I'll do that behind the scenes. The program name. Oh geez, did I forget to do that? I mean, actually that will filter, that could filter out which trainings were available. Because let's say they're in 2 different programs, they don't need to see all of the training dates unless there was an event then. They don't need to see all of the titles of the trainings unless that was offered to them. So depending on their program name, that's going to matter. So maybe I should have the program name right after the school. But it's going to be very similar to the school thing here. So after the school, we're going to have the program name. It's also going to be a drop down. So that is going to be here, program name. And let's say they are in, at my job, we have the integrated units. We have a specific course. Okay, so I could be a little bit more specific. I could say, let's go with two options for now, but there are a bunch more courses. We could do like AP, computer science principles, option, not value, but option. I guess I have to put a value. Well, it asked me for a value, but I'm going to ignore that and do AP CSA, let's say. And so depending on what they choose here, it's going to show them which trainings were available, and then it's going to show them what were the titles of the trainings for that specific date. Okay. So something like that, I guess. And what's left? I think everything else I could do. Okay, time in, time out. I'll capture that based on the title of the training. maybe the title and time of training. Training, title, and time. We'll use @ symbols instead of hyphens. All right, there we go. Title and time, and they'll choose whatever is available to them based on what they attended. Okay, what else? Is that it? Can we now submit this form? And all right, so the time in, time out, I got the signature mechanism. Okay, so that is not something that I've figured out yet. Hello, error. Welcome back. I think there's just 3 of us in here for today, for tonight's late night coding session. Dave, you still in here? What are you working on? Signature mechanism. Oh yeah, so signature. So we got to figure out a way to sign. So let me do that. Div call. Let's just go across and just do some kind of signature thing. Actually, we'll put it in a header and call this signature. So someone will sign somehow over here. Actually, that does not look acceptable whatsoever. Only thing keeping me turning to jello. What did I do wrong? What is up with this? Oh, you know what? Because maybe it's inside of this form control, so it's getting all messed up. So let us do that outside of the form. There we go. So now we are outside of the form, and now we could figure out how to do the signature thing right over here. Or maybe we'll do it inline. We could do it inline. No, I don't want to save it. We'll just do signature mechanism somehow. So somehow we're going to figure out how to do the signature down there. Right now, this is HTML on the right. This is all done in HTML. But all of that functionality will have to be done in JavaScript. Or actually, because I'm using Angular, I'm going to have to do it in TypeScript. But TypeScript is basically just JavaScript with another layer on top of it. Actually, it'll all get reduced down to JavaScript at the end. But yeah, this is all HTML for now. Just to get the front end looking a certain way. Title and time. So yeah, for example, for this, like I don't want people to be able to choose anything before, you know, something else is before they choose the date, for example. So with JavaScript, I can disable this until they choose the right date or whatever. So the program name, school, all right, file number. They're going to type in their own numbers. They're going to type in a name and an email address. And on the email, I could validate and make sure that their names are correct. Why doesn't this actually show like a... I feel like it should have like some sort of border. Does it not? All right, we're not going to do a date time picker. We're just going to use a, for now, we're just going to do a drop-down menu. Keep it simple as possible. Even though it would have been nice to do a, have something a little bit more visual. Yeah. So now we're at the point where I want to be able to submit it. I want to be able to submit and send this somewhere else. I think that's the next step. So let's create a button that will allow us to submit. I apologize for going through all of these tabs, but I'm trying to get back to Bootstrap and see how I could put a button there. Buttons. We could do a block level. Yeah, calendar would be nice. I do agree. So let me put that, let me create a button here. Submit. Submit form. And there we go. So people will fill all that out. You got to figure out how to sign somehow and then hit submit form, and that will shoot that over to the back end. So now we could start doing some Angular. So now we could start figuring out how to actually send some of the information in here. How do we capture it with Angular, and how do we submit it to an API endpoint? So that's the next step. We're at 22 hours, 47 minutes, and we have about 30 hours. Let's actually no, almost what is it? 23. Almost 37 hours left in this challenge. So we still have to keep putting in some time. I would like to get to at least 24 hours. We could have 24 hours. No worries, Error. I don't mind. You're not really like slowing me down. I enjoy the enjoy the distractions or the talking here and there. I'm not like trying to rush through this in like as silently as possible. Okay. Let's go from here. Let's see. We'll figure out the signature stuff later. There must be a way to implement a way for someone to sign it with like with their mouse cursor or on their iPad if they're using an iPad. And if they screw up, that we will have like a clear button so they could like redo it. And when they hit submit form, it'll create a PDF that will send their information and